Hi everyone, so I'm doing my John Maxwell today. It's day 2, the law of explosive growth. And the thought for today is leaders commit themselves to people and activities that provide explosive growth. The verse from the Bible is 1 Corinthians 9:19 and 22. For though I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win them all. I have become all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. So basically, it's just confirming what Paul did at the time in the early Christian church, which is what Jesus did, being one of the common people, being under siege. They probably, like us, were ordinary people of the time. They went to health clinics, they visited parks, they did all the things we did. They didn't have the medications and things that we do now. So people who had mental illnesses, people who they thought were possessed, people with leprosy, diseases that were contagious, they didn't live in the cities. They sent them out to live in the countryside or to live somewhere where they were isolated so that they couldn't pass on what they had to others, or they couldn't hurt others. And today, thankfully, life is not like that. We do have medications available, we have treatment, we still have certain things that have to be treated carefully, but our life today is different. So basically, if we're looking at explosive growth, John Maxwell is telling us, based on those ancient times, what we can do today to help ourselves. We can attract and equip people who are open to learning and people who are open to growing. Not everybody is. Some people like to do things the way they've always done them. That's why Jesus said you can't take new wine and put it into old wineskins. It's like me. I don't listen to a lot of music because a lot of new music, I should say, because a lot of the new music is talking about, I'm worthless and I go smoking and whatever. And we never listened to music like that growing up. So I listen to old music. I listen to music from the 60s and the 70s, and it's upbeat, it's cheerful. I enjoy it. So people should do what makes them feel happy, I guess. But it's with Jesus's teachings. It's talking about love, it's talking about community, helping others. Once we die and we haven't passed on our skills to others, what's the point? If nobody's looking at us and saying, I want to be like them one day, I want to play the piano one day, I want to sing in the choir one day, I want to do these things, then what's the point? So I feel happy when my nieces tell me, or when my brother tells me my nieces want to sing like you, or they want to do what you're doing, then I feel happy because it's good. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not harming anybody. The second point is find and mentor emerging leaders. So sometimes people come to us through programs like TRIAC, looking for mentors, looking for women and men who can help them to integrate in Canada. And sometimes we go out looking for people. Like when I go out looking for work, I go out looking for people. I talk to people. I introduce myself. I tell them that I've worked in retail and I'm currently out of work. I'm looking for a new opportunity. I leave my name and number if they're open to it. I fill out applications in the stores if I can. If they tell me you have to apply online and wait, then I do that too. But when I am employed, I pass my skills and knowledge on. There are people working in companies I worked at that I trained, in the banks, in retail, in the call centers, because I was given that responsibility to have other people sit with me and learn from me. So that's how the explosive growth happens. And it's a pattern that we all follow. We find and we develop potential leaders. The third way is creating new organizations. So some of the great saints, like St. Paul, St. Teresa of Avila, St. Teresa of Lisieux, they went out and they developed their own organizations. They set up small meetings, like how we set up coffee groups when we are looking for work. And through that, it became explosive growth because they formed them small, person to person, and then people started joining them. And that's how the church grew, the early church and our organizations. Many companies started that way. With Primerica Financial, that's how they started. With Bill Gates, he started in his basement. So a lot of companies start that way. They just start out with small things, people doing small things, and then once people get to know people through word of mouth, your name is passed on, references are passed on, and opportunities come to you, and the people that you've trained go on and train other people. And then the last point is engage in the ongoing development of leaders. So once we have people with us, we don't just abandon them. We don't just say, okay, we've trained you now, you get on with it. There's always in companies, or there should always be, that coaching, that nurturing, that helping people to understand what is right and what is wrong. Especially like what TD did, supporting the employees, knowing that they were taking gift cards. And it didn't start over 1 or 2 days. This was going on since 2018. So for 5 years, it's been going on. For 5 years, they didn't care how their customers were being treated, what regulations were being broken. They didn't care about the compliance. And the executives are going to retire and take their bonuses with them and all the executive team. They've lived their lives. They've enjoyed it. Who's suffering? Us, the customers. Do they care? What about the politicians? Did they forget? So that's how it goes here in Canada. But we can only do our part in our small way to do what we can and to use our voices to try to say, since when is this right? And even the church was part of it, because when that Credit Suisse scandal happened, the investment bankers were saying that the people at the Vatican told us what to do, and they said, we know. I couldn't believe it. I said, no, there's no way. They priests. But they were saying, they told us, we know what we're doing. We want you to do this. So, is it fair? No, but life is not fair. But we can make it fairer for ourselves with others. And then it's talking about vision. So some of the great saints, they say, have big dreams. God doesn't like small dreams. Have big dreams and have a big vision and see how God works in your life. And when we have big visions, we do require multiple people because we can't do everything on our own. If we could, we would be Superman or Superwoman. And even they had to have other superheroes alongside them. Even they didn't do it on their own. When we have a big vision, we have to have teams so we can work together and help each other in order to achieve it. And then we get the explosive growth. Anything less and we fall far short of our dreams. And we have to wait and see what's going to happen in Canada now with the changes that are happening, with all of this bank scandals, with everything that's going on. And I am getting interviews. I am having recruiters reach out to me. I am being presented for roles. So all of that is good. But until I land and until I have that income coming in, I have to keep doing what I'm doing. And it's a daily thing. I don't take one day off. I'm always applying for jobs. I'm always going out. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, so I rested. But other than that, I'm always at it. I go for a walk for at least an hour, and I target different companies. I go into different shops. I talk to different people. I go into different areas, and that's all I can do. So today's question is, have you identified the people and activities that provide explosive growth? And that's what we have to do. We have to identify what's working, what's not working, and where we can make adjustments. So that's what I do. And as for the banks, I do still apply to them for executive assistant roles. I do still apply, but they also must know who they're dealing with, because you see my ethics, you see how I am, and nothing has changed me. I was like this from the time I worked at TD. And those executives there, they know it. They know how I am, the original people I worked with. They know my professionalism. They know how I get things done. They know that I push back when I need to. They know that I know how to make contacts, how to contact the hotels, the travel agencies, make the arrangements for the events, for the travel, for whatever it is. They know how good I am. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that I get that break and that I get that opportunity to go back into something administrative. And let's see where it goes. The HR background helps because I always use my human resources in my jobs. I use it on the job. I don't necessarily work in HR. TD was the only place I worked in HR directly. Other than that, I haven't had a direct HR position. It's all been helping with recruitment, health and safety, coordinating the HR compliance within the business. So I know the business drivers, and that always helps. But I'm hoping and I'm praying I get that executive assistant role, because that's my forte. That's where I do my best work, and that's where I shine. So let's see. And that's it for today. I've done a lot today. I went out, I did my job search, I tried to find a new family doctor because my doctor is retiring and I'm going to miss him. He's been a good doctor for me and many other of his patients, and very supportive, very professional, helped me through challenging times and navigating this culture here, which is not normal. Canadian culture is not normal, and even my doctor knows that and tells me that. And all the contracts, hundreds and hundreds of contracts, which is also not normal and very upsetting, very, I mean, to go through that type of an experience after you do everything right, it really is not a good experience. But he knows I've done well, and he knows I keep healthy, I take the directions he gives me. So it's been a pleasure to have him as a doctor, and I will miss him. I was hoping that some of the partners there where he is would be taking new patients, but I'll find another clinic that I can go to, and I'll take it from there. So I hope that helps you if you're coming into Canada, or even like me, if you've been here a long time and you're getting something out of the talks. That's good. And again, please pass my name on if you know of anybody looking for an executive assistant or anything in reception, anything like that where I can help. And I hope it helps you. And I look forward to getting my next job.